I'm going to say 2 words to you, and I want you to say the first thing that comes to your mind.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Shoot.
Kash Patel.
Well, that makes me think of a little girl in a pink dress sticking a hot dog through a donut.
Authorities are looking for a man who's been spotted sneaking into women's restrooms across the downtown area. Witnesses describe him as mid-40s, about 6 feet tall, wearing glasses, a trimmed beard, and a receding hairline. Police released this composite sketch earlier today.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
What the hell? Girl to the last of the circle. If we can roll like a jump like it. Girl to the last of the circle. If we can jump like a jump like it. There, right. Girl to the last of the circle. If we can jump like a jump like it.
Is your stomach calling? Need a processed meal to destroy your insides? Look no further than Goy Slop, the place where food controls you. Our secret Israeli-designed brown goo will kill you. We're not kidding. We're here to poison Goyim.
I love Goy Slop. My wife and her lover love Goy Slop. We're really proud of the work we've been doing here at Goy Slop. I feel so full of energy whenever I take a bite. I love Israel.
So come on down to Goy Slop. Clog your arteries and serve the mega corporations. Call 1-800-GOY-SLOP now and become the Goy you were always meant to be.
Which country is your allegiance? So starting with you, the United States or Russia?
Unfortunately, the United States.
What about you?
America all the way.
What about you? Israel or the United States?
Israel. I have dual citizenship.
Why are you here?
You are how old?
I'm 28.
28. Of your 28 years, how much of that time has been spent in the United States?
26 and a half, I'd say.
And just so, can you explain why you pick Israel over the United States?
My family's there.
If your allegiance is to Israel, why don't you live there? Why do you live here?
Work.
So you want to reap the benefits of the United States, but you won't back them.
So what's the problem with living in Israel?
There's no problem, I'm just...
Then why don't you live there?
Similar to why you chose to go to the LDS church, it's a choice.
If you're going to side with Israel in conflict with America, then why would you live in America?
It is kind of interesting when citizens of the United States who have lived here for most of their life have an allegiance that supersedes their allegiance to the United States.
My answer was primarily just that I'm proud of where I'm from, and I don't hide it.
Are you proud of being also an American, though?
I mean,
Sounds like a no.
It's a hard question.
Wrong answer!
Let's take a look at how they're preparing our youth for World War III.
So what's the curriculum like here?
The main tenets we want to instill in our children are tolerance and inclusivity.
Right. The last thing we want is antiseptic noticers.
I pledge allegiance
to Israel, not the United States of America,
and to the Joes which are chosen.
We will fight their war, invade Iran, and be a good Goy forever and ever. Shalom.
Okay, now pull out Anne's diary and turn to page 109.
You don't have to go to hell. You're in hell. This is hell. This is hell. This is hell.
Because democracy basically means government by the people, of the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Then strangled them, and finally dismembered their bodies.
Right.
Then do
available.
And homelessness and all that.
And now, the voice you've been waiting for.
There is a secret song at the center of the world, and its sound is like razors through flesh. I'm here to turn up the volume.
Don't want to sound like a dick or nothing, but it says on your chart that you're fucked up. You talk like a fag, and your shit's all retarded.
So a few hours after I uploaded last week's episode, I sent a link to the video in a DM to someone who had recently started following. He goes by Donut Patrol or Desk Pop, and I did this because he's got a law enforcement background and is someone who is authentic and real and brutally honest. And brutal honesty is something that I really appreciate. And then when I got home from work on Tuesday afternoon, I saw that he had used a clip of my video, along with a shout out and a recommendation, and that really just made my day, because this guy really cracks me the fuck up, and the importance of authenticity cannot be overstated. To me, it's way more important that I believe that you're genuine than whether or not I even agree with you on everything. So for those of you that are on Twitter...
Don't you mean X?
Yes, well, you may know it as X, but it'll always be Twitter to me. And whatever you may call it, if you're on it, check this guy out.
And what about us?
Yes, thank you. Also, please consider following our account. This is why it means so much to me when you guys share these videos out, because for all the things I can do pretty well, self-promotion is not one of them. Someone else that I've been following on YouTube for years and years now is Angry Cops. In addition to him being law enforcement, he was also a drill sergeant, which was how I initially found him, was his military story breakdowns in drill sergeant attire, and I've always had a certain affinity for the way that drill sergeants could just verbally curb stomp you while being undeniably hilarious.
Hey, look, a squirrel.
Right, so anyway, Angry Cops did a video breaking down the whole Pretty incident and a pretty detailed explanation as to why, in the eyes of the law, this is going to end up being ruled a good shoot, despite it looking like fucking amateur hour out there. You know what it fucking looked like?
It's like watching a bunch of retards trying to fuck a doorknob out there.
And this new video that surfaced of him kicking out the taillights of an SUV on January 13th, I found this to be hilarious because the people on both sides, those who took a hard stance with ICE and those who took a hard stance with the protesters, both saw this video as justification for their perspective. And to me, it makes both sides look like idiots. For all the people on the left who had spent days telling us all what a sweet and gentle guy this was who would never act like a total asshole.
Well, well, well.
And then for the people on the right, who for days on end were not only saying that the ICE agents involved in the shooting didn't do anything wrong at all, and not only that, would viciously attack anybody who was critical of it and accuse them of not really supporting the ICE mission. Well, this is more like what the fucking response should have looked like. Here the dude wasn't trying to shield a woman from getting pepper sprayed, he actually caused damage to their vehicle, they get out, have an encounter with him, and then walk away, even though he's also armed during this incident. Visibly so, as a matter of fact. The difference being that these were probably more seasoned ICE agents, whereas the ones from last Saturday look like a bunch of soup sandwiches. And even though there are a number of people on the right who are looking at this with the kind of nuanced approach that it deserves, it seems like they're being crowded out by all the soap opera melodrama infighting going on, and a lot of the biggest names out there. It's really disappointing because I know a lot of these people are well aware of things like the Hegelian dialectic and the synthetic left-right paradigm being used to control both sides. I know they're aware of these concepts because I've heard them speak on it numerous times, and yet here they are feeding right into it. And this is exactly the kind of incident that the people who pull the strings and make the moves fucking love. An incident where there is a lot of nuance, a lot of ins and outs and what have yous, so that the people viewing the exact same thing from different sides come to completely different conclusions. Because as a result, it's being used to whip up the people on the left into a frenzy, convincing them that they're going to be hunted down and executed, so you need to exercise your Second Amendment rights to defend yourself from tyrannical government. Amazing, the 180 pivot there. But what are they doing? They're convincing these people to be increasingly resistant, increasingly violent, giving the government a perfect excuse for an increasingly militarized police state. And then on the right, after Kash Patel and some of the other administration lackeys started flapping their dick suckers about how you don't have the right to bring a firearm to a protest, and oh my gosh, with 2 magazines?
Shut the fuck up, okay? Shut the fuck up!
And people on the right are either defending it or downplaying it. What about the armed anti-COVID lockdown protests? Oh, well, they weren't impeding or instructing the duties of a federal officer. Okay, yeah. Well, what about the armed standoff at the Bundy Ranch? And you know, back then, Harry Reid was calling those people domestic terrorists. This shit flips back and forth so quickly now. Don't you see when the seasons change again, you're gonna go back to being the domestic terrorist? You know, for a long time, the left was more about freedom of speech and the ability to say whatever you want, especially obscene things, and the right was the more censorious side. That's completely flipped, and that change took decades. But now these changes are coming so fucking fast. It's like being in an interrogation room, and the two cops that are interrogating you are doing the good cop, bad cop routine, but every 30 minutes, they alternate which one of them is the good cop and the bad cop. They just flip into the alternate mode every 30 minutes, and then they pretend like you're crazy for noticing it. So when I see shit like this...
First of all, when these people come out and go, Tim's a bootlicker for defending us, I'm like, no, you misunderstand. It's my boots. It's mine. I voted for them. I'm wearing the boot. I'm stomping on the ground. I ain't licking anybody. I'm clapping for these people that I said, please go out and enforce the law. And anybody else who's cheering for it, who voted for it too, we're all wearing the boots. You're the one crying.
Oh, bless your little retarded heart. Another thing that surprised me was that out of all the people in the administration, Trump basically made the least boneheaded of the statements.
I don't like that he had a gun. I don't like that he had 2 fully loaded magazines. That's a lot of bad stuff. And despite that, I say that's a very unfortunate.
And so people are seizing on that because it's not like he's saying you can't. He's just saying, I didn't like that he had a gun. No, Trump is such a big Second Amendment supporter. Yeah, I know that he likes to say that he is all the fucking time. And I'm not just complaining about the whole bump stock ban. There were his comments about red flag laws, saying that, oh, well, you know, basically, in the interest of public safety, we should go ahead and take the guns first, and then you get your due process.
Pardon me, but that's bullshit.
And on top of that, the fact that the shitbag director of the FBI that he fucking put there and refuses to fire said that American citizens don't have the right to bring a gun to a protest is a fucking problem.
But wait, it gets worse!
And now that some of the people in these blue cities that are crossing the line when protesting, well, that's pretty much all of them, but the ones that are crossing the line so egregiously that they're actually getting arrested and prosecuted are getting off because of jury nullification. And now I see some people on the right criticizing jury nullification, like maybe that's something we need to just go ahead and get rid of.
Are you retarded?
I'd like to remind everyone of the words of the original Chief Justice of the Supreme Court of the United States of America. The jury has a right to judge both the law as well as the fact in controversy, which dovetails with what is sometimes referred to as Blackstone's ratio, that it is better that 10 guilty persons escape than that 1 innocent suffer. But after all these years, we should just throw that out as quaint and outdated simply because you don't like the way it's being fucking applied now?
Has the planet gone mad?
You should remember that in the aforementioned Bundy Ranch standoff case, while the feds did back off from trying to come in and seize his cattle again, they did go after and prosecute a bunch of those fucking people that were involved in that standoff, and the only thing that saved them was jury nullification. Are you too short-sighted to see that the tables could turn again and one day you could find yourself with the only hope of keeping you from turning big rocks into little rocks for the rest of your life is having some jurors that, regardless of the evidence or what the law states, refuse to put you in jail because they see it as an unjust law or a misapplication of the law? That's just an insane notion.
Are you sure?
What if the left gets back into power and they suddenly pivot back to their usual stance on guns?
Won't somebody please think of the children?
And then they try for some kind of major gun grab? Or what if they pass and start zealously enforcing some new hate speech laws? You don't think that could happen? Because I see the foundations already being laid.
Miriam Allison is amazing. What she has done for Israel, for our country, and for this world is second to none. Thank you, my friend. The sad truth is, for way too long, anti-Semitism has been allowed to grow unchecked in this country. Too many institutions have abdicated their moral responsibility to speak up. Too many so-called leaders have stayed quiet. Actions have consequences, and inaction has consequences too. We have secured a $200 million settlement with Columbia University for violating the civil rights of Jewish students and Jewish employees. We've secured a $75 million settlement with Northwestern University for anti-Semitic conduct. We've secured a $60 million settlement with Cornell that includes provisions to halt anti-Semitic conduct. And we've launched a full investigation into University of California's system for systematic anti-Semitism.
And that $200 million Columbia settlement was for a Stop the Genocide protest. Some of those protesters were Jewish students because even they didn't like what was going on. But that's a violation of the civil rights. Plus the fact that basically any criticism of Israel or even Zionism at this point is considered anti-Semitism. They can pass a hate speech law under those auspices. How long do you think it'll take before the BIPOCs and the fucking Rainbow Crew come in and say, hey, we need those protections extended to us? I mean, after all, these white supremacists want to exterminate us, too. The whole, oh, we're just trying to combat people being antiseptic. Yeah, well, the FCC was created just to delegate which radio frequencies were going to be used by who, and then all of a sudden they started telling people what they can and can't say. The FDA was created to make sure that the labeling accurately reflected what was inside, before going on to decide to be the arbiters of what we can and can't put in our own bodies. So look, I'm not saying that I don't support the mission of ICE fully and I want them to back down or anything. I'm glad they're not pulling out of Minnesota. I'm glad they sent Tom Homan there.
Warriors, come out to play. Warriors, come out to play.
And he's one of the few that hasn't said anything completely fucking boneheaded that I'm aware of. If I'm wrong, please correct me on that. But I'm not gonna pretend like this wasn't a fuck-up, legally justified or not. And I'm also not gonna co-sign or defend the lies that were put out by people like Kristi Noem, Bovino, Stephen Miller.
Fuck you. Fuck the three of you.
Saying he was an assassin, that he was brandishing his weapon. They all could have just came out and said, look, we're fully investigating this matter to get to the bottom of it. Let's not go jumping into any conclusions. But no, instead they came out and fucking lied through their teeth. And additionally, I'm just saying maybe we need to start thinking a little more carefully about some of the shit that we're cheerleading for and consider the possibilities of how that could end up biting us in our ass later on down the road. Is that not reasonable?
You're fucking bumming me out right now, bruh.
Oh, well, Lord knows we wouldn't want that. You got anything to shift gears with?
Yep, you're gonna like this one.
What is it? Is it titties?
Nope, a flashbang.
And now, the weekly flashbang.
1 second, I want to show you guys.
What happened? What's
Look at my tire right here.
Oh boy.
Huge width. You know, it's so sad that this could have been an accident, but the first thing that comes to my mind is if this was an anti-Semitic act, if somebody knew my beard, my yarmulke, and said, let me do that to this guy.
It looks like it was placed there perfectly.
But it's like the inside of the tire. But it's so sad that even that has to go through my mind today. Nation, no people, no one should ever have to have that percolating. Is somebody attacking me for who I am? My race, religion? Are they? But the Jewish people today have that. This must stop.
You know what that reminds me of? Some of those out there that say, oh, some of these people, every time they slip on a banana peel, they blame the tiny hats. And apparently, the corresponding yang to that yin is that for some of these tiny hats out there, every time they slip on a banana peel, they blame anti-Semitism.
The irony! It's too much!
For all the times I've had to pull screws and nails out of my tires and plug up holes, maybe somebody just mistook me for a wall humper. And I suppose I should also mention about Don Lemon getting arrested. He's very unlikely to actually be doing any time, which is sad because, as Prison Mike would say, he'd be de bella de ball. But unfortunately, like I said last week, I still don't have high hopes for this really going anywhere. I mean, if there ends up being some fuckery from the judge, prosecution does something really stupid on purpose to spike the case, that's one thing. But in the end, he might get off just on jury nullification. And if so, you're just gonna have to put on your big girl panties and get over it. But it's not like the evidence isn't there. He posted a video of him talking to these protesters before they went to this church, talking about how they were going there to disrupt shit. And I don't know where he could have possibly thought they were going. Maybe he thought they were going to Target, I'm sure he'll say. But at the point where you realized, oh my God, we're walking into a fucking church?
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
And all the video evidence of what they actually did in there, and blocking the entrance to the Sunday school to where parents couldn't even get to their children, and the video of him basically berating that pastor. Now, if we had any kind of real justice system, he would have one hell of a hill to climb. But unfortunately, we are where we are. And he's gonna try the, oh, but I'm a journalist and, you know, this is First Amendment protected. What do you mean I can't use exercising my rights in order to violate other people's rights? I mean, did I mention that I'm black and gay?
Help! Help! I'm being repressed!
It's a variation of the Twinkie defense. I call it the twink defense.
And then, of course, there was this whole Elon Omar ordeal. And this is another one of those stories where as soon as it broke, it had that suspicious look to it. I mean, here you got this guy running up and squirting her with a fucking syringe. And I thought, well, okay, first of all, that wouldn't be a right-winger. They don't do shit like that. And you hear all these people on the video saying, oh my god, what is that? It smells, it smells. And you know, some of the people on the further left have soured on some of these more mainline Democrat politicians for siding with the Democratic establishment on things. So I thought, okay, well, if it turns out to be a syringe full of like sewage or, you know, week old urine or something like that. But then when they didn't even rush her off stage to find out what the fuck that liquid was, even though allegedly nobody had any idea, that was another, oh really?
Don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious, don't be suspicious.
And then it took like 2 or 3 days for them to finally say, oh, well, it actually was apple cider vinegar, which I guess in a way does make this a Muslim acid attack. I mean, she is a Muslim woman. She got attacked with acetic acid. But this was one of those ones that was just so stupid from the beginning that only the dumbest, knuckle-dragging mouth breathers fell for it. Oh, and did you hear the news about bacon? Bacon has now been officially listed as a Group 1 cancer-causing agent by the World Health Organization. Yeah, so we should totally take that seriously. And even though one of the first executive orders Trump signed was withdrawing us from the World Health Organization, apparently according to the charter it takes a year for that to actually go into effect, meaning that technically we weren't completely officially out of it until about a week and a half ago. And like so many other things, I just worry that this is something that can be undone just as easily as it was done. In this case, maybe even more so, because I bet you they wouldn't make us wait a year if the next president suddenly decided we wanted to rejoin. And for me, bacon is becoming another sort of litmus test, like with dogs. If you say you don't like dogs or my dog doesn't like you, I mean, maybe we can still be friends, but I'm not really gonna trust you. The people that are like, oh, you really shouldn't be eating that. Well, it just so happens that I have a recommendation for what they should be eating. And another story I quickly want to mention is what's been going on with silver. Now, first of all, let me say that I am not giving anybody any kind of financial advice. And I mean, let's be honest. If you're willing to take investment advice from a little retard made out of injection molded hard plastic, you got some deeper fucking issues there. But for the past year, silver has been on a pretty incredible run. It doubled over the course of last year. Then I saw this article on the 28th about how red-hot silver is almost guaranteed to plunge 50% in the next year, according to JP Morgan's former quant chief. And then what do you know, the very next day, it dropped 30%. In one day. There was a lot of talk about how this was related to the new Fed chair pick and how he had eased a lot of concerns about the dollar, so that made silver plummet. I don't know, maybe there is some truth to that, but these kind of corrections can happen on their own. It was just a little over 2 weeks ago that silver was sitting at about $90, and then once it crossed that $100 threshold, it didn't stop there like a lot of people thought it might. Basically shot straight up to $150. A lot of people probably decided, hey, let's go ahead and lock in some fucking profits. And then when you got JP Morgan saying this shit's gonna crash 50% this year, it probably exacerbated that. But despite the fact that I own silver, not a whole lot of it, but it's really the only kind of investment I have, I wasn't bothered at all by this 30% plunge. It was actually sort of a relief. Because if it just kept going up and up and up, it would look very synthetic, like there were forces at work that were deciding to pull the plug on the dollar in the US banking system, which could still come at any time. But shit, right now I'm considering acquiring some more silver. And people that are saying that you can't right now, they're liars, or stupid, or both. And then there was this video that I came across the other day of Catherine Austin Fitts.
In my opinion, Trump was put into the White House to persuade conservatives to go along with a control grid. And what you need to understand is if you look at all the factions operating in Washington, there is nobody on our side. They are all trying to implement the control grid. And the question is who's going to control it and who's going to make money on it? So is Trump our friend? Absolutely not. And if you look at the extraordinary effort that the administration has made to build the control grid, the local hardware and software infrastructure, billions of dollars, So let me step and talk about the local infrastructure and
Please
then come
do.
back to this side, Andy. Let me explain what AI is really good at. So there's a lot of crazy, magical, stupid thinking on AI. But one of the things I will say about AI, it's absolutely superb at implementing or tracking things that can be expressed mathematically. So its ability to collect and process huge amounts of data like surveillance data, where you're trying to implement spatial control or financial control, it's absolutely fantastic at. Okay. And if you look at all the data centers we're building all over the country, they are there for control. That's what they do. They're not there to make businesses. I always laugh when the guys say, oh, we poured all this money into AI and it's not making companies more productive. Well, of course, it's not meant to make companies more productive. It's meant to make sure that the leadership has complete control, spatial control, and financial control. I just noted Congressman Massey is now fighting to kill the switch in your car, kill the car switch. So they've got new items in the car that your car can be turned off, remotely. And so he's trying to kill the kill switch. But that gets back to spatial control. And if everybody's an electric car and you can kill the switch, there you go. You've got total control of movements and money.
Wow. Yeah.
I'm really glad that there's some other people that are putting this out there into the ether. The possibility that maybe they're not just going to run out the clock and wait for their chance to get back into power, but they're going to use him as a Trojan horse and usher in things that if it was a Democrat doing it, the right would have a fucking conniption fit. But if it's Trump doing it, nobody wants to really say anything for fear of being viewed as disloyal, or maybe just in the blind, hopeful optimism that there really is a plan. Again, just maybe it's something we should keep in the back of our minds. And then, of course, the big story over the weekend was the 3 million pages of Epstein files that were dumped by the DOJ. I love how the DOJ put out this release saying, in compliance with the Epstein Files Transparency Act. You mean in half compliance, because there's still another 3 million files that I guess they're just hoping everybody will forget about. And of course, these files also have a bunch of redactions, although some of the victims are pissed that their names didn't get redacted. And from what I heard, they actually released some of the actual child sex abuse material shit with the victim's face not even covered. One thing's for sure though, the conspiracy theorists were proved right yet again. Patel, Bongino, Bondi, and everybody else that sat there and tried to say, oh well, there was no kind of credible or actionable evidence in the file for anybody else except for Epstein with this child trafficking.
Well, well, well.
And all these emails talking about him working for the Mossad. Oh, what do you know? And Alan fucking Dershowitz is his, liaison between him and the Mossad. Holy shit, there's emails talking about torturing and fucking killing people. Of course, the names of who sent and received those emails got redacted. But that's not something that could be looked into, huh, Cash? There was even a recorded audio of a conversation with Epstein and Ehud Barak right before he was leaving his post as the defense minister of Israel, telling him about his buddy Peter Thiel and this company Palantir. And this is right about a year before Palantir got all those contracts with the Israeli government. Some of the shit I've seen people dig out so far is fucking wild. Just imagine what's in the 3 million pages that they're holding back. And there was a whole lot of people that claimed that they had cut ties with him way before they actually did, as proven by their email records with him. So now there's a whole lot of very important people that got a whole lot of splaining to do.
Oh my god, what a fucking nightmare!
I really haven't had time to personally go digging through this shit. I know plenty of other people are, so we'll see what pops up. But the first thing I saw, and the funniest thing so far, it was this shit about Bill Gates catching an STD from a Russian girl and then trying to get antibiotics to secretly feed to Melinda so that she wouldn't find out. And then apparently he confessed all this to her, and this was 2013?
Well, well, well.
But she still played fucking stupid for years and years afterwards until Epstein finally got arrested again, and then, that was when she suddenly decided to file for divorce. And of course, there's a shit ton of accusations against Trump in this new massive batch. And for all the back and forth as to whether or not it's a frame job or he really was doing this kind of shit, I don't even fucking care anymore. Whether you were involved or not, you helped continue the cover-up for this shit, and that alone makes you just as fucking involved in my eyes. Maybe there is some blackmail videos on him somewhere. It sure would go a long way to explaining why he's acting so much like a bitch to Bibi. And now it looks like we're about to attack Iran again. And honestly, I see it just as plausible that the booster shots that he so stupidly keeps fucking taking might have a little something in there. And again, anybody who tries to tell you that that kind of technology is science fiction and isn't real is either stupid, full of shit, or both.
Must attack Iran. Iran threatens America. Wait, we destroyed Iran's nuclear sites. How is Iran still a threat to America? Ayatollah, dictator, oppressing civilians. Okay, but why is that America's problem? Why do we care what's happening inside Iran? Radical Islam spreading. America threatened. What? We need to focus on our own hemisphere. Israel, America's friend. America needs Israel.
As for whether or not this is going to end up being the next shoe to drop, I don't know. But it sure seems likely the way I've seen everything lining up. And I'll tell you one thing. As the good doctor used to say, the fat is in the fire. Sláinte.
All I have in this world is my thoughts and my words, and I don't break them for no one. You understand? So say good night to the bad guy. 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 Come on. Come on.
me! You stupid fuck! Look at you now! Look at you now!